Let's play some D&D. So before I do this recap, there is a slight retcon, and that is Finra dropped through the hole in the ceiling, but no one else did. Those of you who heard things heard what you assume to be other humanoids with her, but the only one you see is Finra. And let's see. Previously on the Lamplighters were busily exploring an upside down spire from a city from a time past. Definitely not the age of Arcanum. You assume this came from a flying city. Definitely not Aor. And this spire buried itself in the ground and has since had some occupants move into it and kind of make it their home or their lair. And during your exploration of this spire, you encountered a simulacrum of Dazan, the former Red Wizard of Thay, recently turned Arcane Brotherhood, who was part of the group of wizards from the Arcane Brotherhood sent into Icewind Dale on a mission doing stuff. You went downstairs all the way to the fourth level, which is the most deepest accessible level. Therein attempted to use a magical chamber that had the ability to convert illusory things into real things. But unfortunately, the damage from the fall had made the magics of the transformation room somewhat unreliable. And as a result, the simulacrum was in fact made real, but he was made real as a caustic magical blob of grossness, which you dispatched. Also, the white bodyguard that was with Dazan was also killed in the fight. And you came back upstairs. You'd gathered around the stone statue form of Croesus, whom had the unbelievably bad luck to roll a 1 twice, and therefore was turned to stone by the fell magic of the basilisk. As you were kind of taking stock on wondering what to do next, what your next steps would be, the more perceptive of you picked up on the sound of approaching footsteps or humanoids moving around in the floors above you. And then after a few moments of that, lone figure drops down from the hole in the ceiling, which was your point of ingress. And most of you recognize her as being Finra, Broad's sister, whom had joined up with Arl and her forces, really for an unknown time, possibly just for a few weeks, possibly she's been doing this her whole life, but you don't know. She drops in before you, kind of eyes each one of you and says, "Lamplighters, where is my brother?" And we'll take it from there.
When she says Lamplighters, does she mean us?
Yes.
Are we the Lamplighters? Oh,
Well,
I don't know where your brother is. I'm sorry. I just got here. Can I go back to my knitting?
She
Okay, then I'll just go back to my knitting.
Right. She kind of looks at you curiously, almost like making a mental note that there's now a new member of this group. And she says, I suspect you wouldn't know where he is anyway. So yes, knit, if you must.
Well, I don't have to. Would you prefer a needlepoint?
Really, whichever you prefer.
I think she would most like it if you started spinning yarn.
All right. Well, I'll knit you a scarf. You seem like a nice young lady.
Well,
Mm.
remember who Broad told.
Wasn't Croesus.
It was Sandalphon.
Oh, I'm
And
looking
then-
back.
The rest of you know what Sandalphon told you, but Sandalphon is the one that Broad woke up and said, "Hey, I'm bailing."
I do not remember. I've had tests since then.
Would you like some help?
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically told you that the darkness needed him and he was going to go do
That's
that.
right. That's right. The wolves. Your brother is traveling with a different group at the moment. Yes. Do you have more questions, or does that satisfy what you want to know?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, goodness.
They're not good at that.
Persuasion? Not bad.
Don't roll a negative. Don't roll a 1.
Why isn't it rolling?
Oh,
Oh.
or a -1.
And don't roll a negative 1.
Did it roll? No, it didn't roll. I can't roll a -1 in this stat. It's not a wisdom-based stat.
Ha.
I have this strange
Ah,
dice. It only rolls imaginary numbers.
Hmm. I don't have anything to do with that. But I'm Ching. Because I is an imaginary number.
Oh, God.
9.
9.
She looks at you as though weighing your response. She says, another party, huh?
Another group of individuals.
Oh, I really don't know what I was expecting. Leaving where he is needed most is kind of something he does.
That sounds like something you might want to work out with your therapist.
Mm. So, oh, no, I made my peace with that a long time ago. It's just,
Mhm. Sure.
I thought maybe over time he would have, not been as flighty.
Spoiler alert, making peace and healing aren't necessarily the same things.
This is true.
Mhm.
You are very insightful. Okay, well,
Sometimes.
if you
I'm
don't
really
know-
just repeating things that my sister told me.
Well, I suppose it's not really him that I'm here for now.
Oh no.
Although I suppose now I will have to find him some other way. But since he is not here, And I do not see the cauldron that we had discussed. I suppose I shall have to ask you, where's the cauldron of plenty that you
I'm-
found in the caves?
I'm really bad at geography, so I get lost really easily. I just wander places and I end up showing up somewhere.
We were concerned that it would cause trouble and strife among the 10 towns, and so we buried it.
Where did you bury it?
That is a fantastic question, but that I don't have the answer to.
And which
I
one
mean,
of
your
you
brother's
does?
really the good tracker here.
Hmm.
We wrote down the location and then ate it.
Connie just pauses in her knitting, like looking around at this entire group, like, what the fuck?
Varuk, make a deception check, and Siston, make a, I don't know, kind of bullshitting, but not really bullshitting check. I guess it's persuasion.
They're both the same, so that works.
Okay. Hmm. So who buried it?
I didn't see it get buried, and I'm not 100% sure it is buried, but somebody else's job was to bury it. No one here.
We kept
Mhm.
not letting each other know about things so that we wouldn't know. You know who might know where it is? I point to Croesus. He might.
Oh my.
Yes, the lizard.
No, not that. That one's the lizard. That one's the dragonborn. Are you not familiar with this?
She just looks at you, raises one eyebrow for a moment, and then just kind of, she closes her eyes and you can see that she's like mumbling something to herself, as though perhaps reminding herself of something. She sighs. Okay. Which one of you knows where it's buried? And if none of you know, who does?
I think Croesus knows.
Hmm.
So if you want the information, I think you have to, revive.
I'm going to assume that you understand that we have had you under surveillance for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that in all of our interactions, we have not acted in a way that would lead you to believe that we were stupid.
Oh no, you failed at that.
Hmm.
But you also would know that since you've been surveilling me, I'm definitely not going to know the answer to that question.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Pardon me, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I lost my accent. But if y'all been surveilling these people and y'all are so good at surveillance and you're not stupid, you said you weren't stupid, so I believe you. Shouldn't you know where they buried the damn thing?
There is a
Weren't you watching
difference.
them bury it?
There is a difference between surveillance and constant surveillance.
Oh, well, if you really want information, you should go for constant surveillance. I would think non-stupid people would have figured that out. Anyway,
Well,
I'm sorry. I'll get back to my knitting. I didn't mean to interrupt
let's
you.
try this out for not stupid. It would seem your companion has taken up a new career as a statue. And the fact that he is still a statue leads me to believe you do not have the ability to unstatue him.
Maybe we just think he's nicer this way.
Possibly.
Some
But-
say he's achieving a height. Some say he's actually hit rock bottom.
All right, Varut goes and grabs the basilisk body and starts dragging it back in here.
Right. So I'll present you with an opportunity. You tell me where the cauldron is buried. And I don't mean you just basically, tell me some location at random, but I mean you go dig up the cauldron from where it was buried. Meet me and my associates in a few days, and we will provide the necessary magic to return Croesus to the living.
So, but what if he's the one who knows where it is?
Well, then I guess we'll have to look into other options, won't we?
Half up front.
As you can totally sell other options, and you keep
Very
going to your B
genuinely
plan is working really
believe
great
that-
for you.
I very genuinely believe that Izzy is the only one who knows where it is. Iggy is the only one who knows where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Player
genuine.
Robert
Just-
knows that Iggy is the only one who knows.
Yeah. And we don't want to give Iggy up to these. Is there any way that we could use the cauldron to feed the people of the 10 towns? There's so much hunger here. I don't want it to be a political ploy, but it just seems like it could do so much good.
I mean, if it could do so much good, why did you bury it?
Because you asked us not to put it, you asked us to not let it be taken. You gave some very specific wording to your brother that made it seem like we didn't necessarily have to give it to you as long as it wasn't out in the open.
Well, to be honest, the ultimate decision's a bit above my, let's say, above my
Intelligence?
place in the hierarchy. But the decision has been made that we would like to recover the cauldron.
I'll tell you where it is if you unstone this dragon here.
You don't know.
I do know where it is.
Make a deception check.
I'm not lying.
And just to be precise, your brother said they don't want the cauldron in the hands of the people of the 10 towns, and she will get rid of it, meaning you, if we did not. And so we got rid of it, not necessarily permanently rid of it, but we did want to do what you asked and stick to the letter of what you said. And I just want to say that is all within the general plan of what we did, especially your brother.
All my charisma checks are the same, so I'll roll deception, but I am not lying.
Okay, then perhaps we need a sidebar to know how you know where it is buried.
Okay, let
So
me.
there could be a lack of specificity in the knowledge.
It's on this continent.
It is buried.
Yes.
I know it. It was
I
just told to
mean-
me.
The joke's out. Yeah, if I was absolutely just going to tell her it was buried in the ground.
Oh.
Right. Which is why I was saying, you said you know the location or you know where it is.
No, I said I know where it's buried.
Right.
And for some reason, my deception checks are not rolling in roll 20.
Hmm.
I
which
had
is
to
annoying me.
refresh and then it did it.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks like that's what I'm trying.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what I need to do too, because the last deception check I see is from Varuk.
Here we go.
Mm.
There you
Yes,
go.
a 5.
You should let Croesus deceive. He's good at him.
Right? She's just kind of not really listening to you.
Croesus has just a flat affect. He really just telling poker face right there.
Well, since I'm right next to her, I'm just gonna lean over to Siston. She, her are your pronouns, Siston, is that correct?
them.
It depends. But yeah. Right now she seems right.
Okay, I'll lean over to Siston. Is there any reason we're not just killing this woman?
Oh, she's the sister of a good kind of friend.
Good acquaintance.
Well, no, someone
Siston, make a deception check now.
We've been asking.
someone we're bound by, someone who has helped save our lives many times, and some of us feel sorry for him. He just feels like he's finding out that there's more to life than half up front, and we want to support that. I think that's a good journey for him, but he loves his sister. And we want to support that good feeling in him, that goodness that came from him. And she's found some new beliefs in this stage of her life, and we want to make sure she has like a good coming home point, a good point to feel like if she needs to come back from the cult, she has a place.
Siston, give yourself inspiration. That was beautiful and mostly even true. So yeah.
I will arch my eyebrow at that last word. I'm sorry, did y'all say cult?
So
Look
much
it up. Word a
cult
lot.
is maybe a new belief system or understanding of things.
Trust me, you stick around me long enough and you'll encounter a bunch of cults.
I'm sorry, Dolph, that was insensitive of me.
No, you're good. I somehow am a magnet to them. I don't know what a magnet is, but I'm pretty sure I am. A lodestone. There we go. That's better.
You're a horse magnet?
Magnets. How do they work?
How do they work?
Cult magnet.
Probability.
You know what the difference between a cult and a religion is?
Robert, see what I did.
Numbers.
Money.
So Finra just kind of watches you, waiting for an answer to her offer.
Do you think there's any way you could, I know you're not the decision maker, but if there's any way it could go towards feeding hungry people, could we make that plea?
You could make that plea once you have returned to the cauldron.
But
And
would you, but
to
Taylor,
the-
would you
to-
make that plea with us? These are your people. You are of the 10 towns. They're hungry. You could make that case so much better than I.
When you
The
say
people of the
return-
10 towns are hungry because they have made poor choices.
Oh, buddy. You need to learn a bit about economics and how things work and supply and demand.
She says, well, be that as it may, I am
And the
not
people
hungry.
who are hungry are likely the people who are without the most choices.
Perhaps you are right.
Yes.
Let me do a thing. Okay. Okay. There is some truth to what you say. So I will present the case with you to my higher up, she says with a little sly smile. And ultimately, it will be her decision and not mine, but I will plead your case to the best of my ability, earnestly and truthfully. And before we have that conversation, in case it does not go the way we think it should go, I will make sure that they restore your companion to life.
May we ask what the current plan is for the cauldron?
To take it into our possession and to decide what to do with it after it is in our custody.
You said earlier return it.
Hmm?
You said earlier return the cauldron. Does your group feel that they were in possession of it before we were?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Earlier, you said that you wanted us to return the cauldron. Did the people you represent feel they were in possession of it before we were to return it to you? Or was that, it might have been imprecise language, and that is fine. I'm just curious.
Technically, if you go back far enough, yes.
So you lost it, we found it, now you want us to return it.
I know.
Not you, but you know what I mean.
No, I believe they've known where it was the whole time.
No, they were just fine with it being there. Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
Finders keepers.
Anyway, I would like to know your decision.
All in favor for doing this plan? Say aye.
No.
So you're not in favor of this plan, Baruch, or are you in favor?
No.
Oh goodness.
You have to beat his intelligence score by getting lower than his.
Yeah.
Good luck.
What do you want to do, Baruch, in terms of the cauldron?
Destroy it.
Are you okay with giving it to Broad's sister?
No.
Okay.
In pieces.
Yes, in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure I understand the deal correctly. Your people will restore our friend.
Yes.
We will meet and then be able to plead our case about the cauldron and its use in the future. Because as I understand it, actually, can I make an insight check to see if they knew where the cauldron was, or at least if she believes they knew where the cauldron was?
Certainly.
Find my right page with my character sheet. There I am. Ooh, I rolled fairly low. All right, we'll see my belief.
I mean, you are very confident that she's telling you the truth.
It logic tracks that your group knows of it, maybe even uses it occasionally, but does not want it available for the greater populace.
That may be.
Or doesn't want it easily in the hands of certain people in the greater pop.
Siston, I know you feel very strongly about the people of 10 towns, and I've been living here for a short while, and I do not think they need to suffer, but we have a way now to get our friend back, and the cauldron can be a problem of another time. Are you okay with this?
Right now, the cauldron is doing no good. It's just in the ground. There's a possibility for it to do good. We did not have one. If we bring it out and try to use it ourselves, I've no doubt that we will be found and it would be taken from us. I think to use it as a bargaining in a way to restore Croesus is a good use. And I hope that it could be of more use in feeding hungry people. I'm all right with the bargain.
I like that idea
Yeah,
as well.
I'll walk over, hold my hand out. It's a deal.
Destroy it.
Very well.
Fire.
She holds her hand out to you and she grasps your hand. You are
Misty step. No, I mean, no.
Right.
Thunder step. No. Just kidding.
right. No, you are immediately taken. You immediately notice that her hand is very cold.
Mm.
And although she is pale, she is not like the pale of death or the pale of the undead. She herself is just cold.
Dalen's gonna wake up with the snowflake somewhere on his body.
We'll have to do a tick check tomorrow morning.
So how many days do you think it will take? Well, she looks back over at Croesus. She looks back over and says, I don't know that you have a way of getting it out of here easily.
Pronouns are him. And other-
So I propose that we all reconvene back here and say 3 days.
Iggy, is that enough time?
Well, you guys are going to have to find Iggy because Iggy did the thing and then fucked off. So
I did not realize Iggy was canonically not with us.
well, one with unfortunately with Owen's sort of
Mm.
guest star status, I don't necessarily know that it's okay to keep dragging his character around and not actually doing anything.
That's fair.
So, I mean, the last you guys saw him, he was in, you were not that far outside of, I think it's Lonelywood. And you assume that he went back there because he, well, when not actively on the job, Iggy is not exactly like swift of movement.
Hmm.
So I would say, all things considered, East Haven, not Lonelywood, East Haven,
Yeah.
which is really not that far from where you are. I mean, you can get there by the end of today. Because it's only creeping up on midday. You could walk back to the Eastway, the road, and then, walk on into East Haven and be there by this evening.
Okay, so we ask
Monday.
Iggy where the cauldron is. We go dig up the cauldron. We come back here and we think we have a reasonable shot at getting that done within 3 days. Is that the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna remember this, y'all. I'm gonna fucking remember this.
Remember that I had no part in it except
Yes,
abstaining.
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. No, y'all motherfuckers had a chance to bring back Rigel when the DM put up a chance to do it, but no, y'all said fuck him, and then now you're gonna bring back Croesus. All right, I see how it is.
I believe somebody said, and I believe it was you, Chris, who said, I don't want that help, which influenced
That
everybody's
wasn't
way
how
to
that
do that.
So
like to say
Finra
yeah,
looks
well,
at you and
but-
says, well, then I will leave the minutia of what needs to be done to you. Today is the 22nd of Flame Rule. 3 days from now, on the 25th, we will meet back here.
All
And
right. Well, 3 days is plenty of time for me to finish this scarf. So, like, do you like prefer a shorter scarf or a longer scarf or an infinity scarf? Like, what would you like?
The infinity scarves are very
scarves.
useful. Yeah.
Personally, I like just, kind of a long scarf, maybe in like a red and a yellow.
Oh, Gryffindor.
Sure.
Luckily, I already started with red, so yeah, I'll get that for you.
I was
Okay.
thinking the same thing.
Okay. Well, she says, well, then we shall meet here around noon on the 25th. That is 22nd, 23rd, 2, 3. Yep, noon on the 25th. And she looks up and says, with that, I will depart. She goes to cast a spell. If anyone wishes to attempt to counterspell.
Counter spells.
Root counter spells.
Right.
Yeah, with your
So-
club, right?
Right. So she
I say yes, Marinum Yem, which, if anyone speaks Sylvan, means I am dying.
She does not.
I
Anyway,
do.
she looks up at the ceiling and she says the magic word far step and bounces upward in a puff of illogic and family entanglement, and you are left again alone in the upside down spire.
For the record, I'm not going to indicate one way or another if I want help being revived. I think that is a decision that party makes without the individual in this case.
That's fair. Y'all, I hate to bring this up now, but did we give any thought to getting back up these holes?
I can ice climb.
Yeah, how tall are you, Varuk?
7 feet.
Baruch was gonna ice climb and we were going to drop a rope down and come up. That's how we were gonna get up.
Right. I
Or we
mean, you
could
didn't
just
have any
carry
problem.
people.
You didn't have any problem getting up from the 4th floor back to the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's
Farouk
all
can
good
just
then.
carry people up with him.
I mean, for
Piggyback
that matter,
style.
Varuk could just toss people up.
Sweet, we got any dwarves? I like dwarf tossing.
Have him stand on your shoulders and just
Connie. Did I hear
Connie,
correct-
sorry, real quick, Allie.
Yeah, no,
Connie
go
glares hard at Baruch when he mentions tossing dwarves. right. Allie, please go ahead.
Connie, did I hear correctly that you can do needlepoint?
Well, yeah, I can do pretty much any kind of sewing or knitting or crocheting you want.
Ooh. Very
If it involves a thread, I'm your woman.
awesome. I'm sorry, where are you from? Are you from Icewind Dale or are you from somewhere else?
I'm from around the Dale. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if you have a lot of interaction with plants.
Plants? I mean,
Flowers.
I eat vegetables. Yeah.
Well, I mean like the more decorative variety. I'm a little
Oh, that's-
homesick, and I was wondering if you could, I don't know, embroider a vines, flowers, and things on my jacket.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely could do that for you, sugar. Look, tonight I'll mock up a sketch of some ideas and I'll run it by you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, how are we going to get out of here?
I think we just talked about that. Brooke's gonna throw people through holes and then ice climb his way up.
Mm,
Nice. Okay. So, Brooke, are we going for distance or are we going for aim when you're throwing people?
I guess we could make a game of it.
We could. What kind of game?
Do you want to go fast or maybe hit the wall?
Be right back.
So, Joe, is there meant to be any particular challenge in getting out of here? Because if not, I would just say,
Yeah.
like, we're out and let's move on.
Let's boogie woogie.
He may be AFK.
He may have gone AFK.
Oh. Well, while he's gone, everybody level up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, level up twice and then greater restore me.
Yeah. That one.
We
While
should,
we're talking about memeing.
we should all level up twice and then no one who can should memorize greater restoration. We should just be like, oops.
I mean, that is technically a party decision, and that is fine. I trust Joe to find a way to include me in the festivities one way or another.
One
Maybe he
Sorry.
lets me play the dragon that comes and eats you all.
Sorry, Flame Strike is just so much more useful than greater restoration. No one prepared it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Get it. Seventh level.
My apologies, guys. I had stuff delivered from Instacart and Shanna's doing a training session, so I had to put the perishables in the refrigerator.
No
To answer your
worries.
All
question,
good.
Jay, no, there's not really meant to be a particular challenge in getting out.
Okay,
So
then I move. We just get out then.
okay.
One way. Oh, another.
Or, as Allie seems to suggest, we could just stalk somebody.
No.
Well, it is up to you. If you wish to get out, it takes, maybe 15 minutes, half an hour for you to work your way back up to the surface, if that is what you intend to do.
Is there
It
anything else
appears.
we could investigate down here?
I mean, I think we pretty much cleared it out.
That's what I was under that impression as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to get like a little excess like ribbon or something, and I'm going to like tie a tie in Croesus.
Okay. Easily enough.
Like a little is it a cravat? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Little cravat. and I'm gonna give him a pat on the shoulder and say, "Hang in there, buddy. You're rocking at this."
Okay. So as you make your the only part of the way that's challenging, but I'm not gonna do it, but mechanically it's just physically challenging. But as you are crawling your way out of the tunnel that comes from the last room that goes back up to the surface, as you get close to the surface, you do notice a couple of flashes of light, and when you exit the tunnel, you are confronted
What will?
with the sight of a person in armor, just putting the last stab on what looks like someone, a person in black robes that you are mostly familiar with, and they pull the weapon back, and the person collapses, and the person doing the stabbing kind of notices your arrival and turns around and says, "Robert?"
Think about what I'm gonna say. You see him kind of like look at you, kind of free his mace up from the black robed person, and he just kind of like stares at you all, kind of looks at you one by one, sizing you kind of up a little bit, and then he just kind of like nods a little bit and pays a little bit more attention to making sure that there are no more robed figures kind of around. And you can hear him say, but he doesn't, like, his head is facing like away from all of you guys, and he just says, "I think I got all of them. Do you guys see any more?"
That we're
So-
familiar with?
Black robe figures, would that be frost druids?
That would be, based on your experience with them, that is how they tend to how members of that cult tend to dress and travel around.
Did he just call Finra?
Connie
No.
Connie runs up and buries an axe in the skull of the thing that he just killed and looks up at him and goes, "Always confirm your kills, sugar."
He's he's not super tall. He's just an inch shy of 6 feet, but he's pretty large with the full plate mail that he's wearing, and you're pretty sure it's a he anyway. You can really only just see bits of his face. Even his helmet kind of obscures some of that, and he just kind of looks at you, and then he's got a big shield in one hand, and he looks at his mace in the other, and you can just kind of see the blood dripping from it, and even parts of the black robe still on it. And he just kind of lets it down and just kind of stares you dead in the face. Is like, "I was confident in my kill, thank you."
It never hurts to check. And then I bury the other axe in its skull for good measure.
Double tap.
Do you two know each other?
No, but I think we should.
So this armor-clad figure kind of turns, well, it looks at Connie, and then you can tell that he doesn't know who you are. Doesn't really care. Just clearly you have similar goals, similar things in common when it comes to frost druids. But then he kind of turns his whole body towards the rest of the party, who did not run up and embed weapons into corpses.
One corpse.
And you can kind of like see him kind of like nodding his head as he sort of counts, counts you guys. And he looks up at Varuk. He's like, yeah, all right. You must be the Lamplighters. But you're few short, I think.
Excuse you, I'm taller than you.
Doesn't really respond. Just kind of,
I'm
And-
Galen Cole. Yes, we are the Lamplighters, and you are.
There was a nice way.
he he at this moment he's kind of still held his like shield, not really in a defensive stance, but he's like at the ready. Same with his Morning Star. And when he hears you introduce himself, you can see him relax a little bit and kind of let his arms rest. And so his weapon goes down and the shield kind of goes down a bit, and he says, "My name is Odric, and it is probably the divine fate that we have met today."
I glance over at Connie. Does she react to that particular phrasing?
Oh, yes, her eyes narrow considerably.
So do Sandalphons.
Is there any sigildry, any icons on armor, shield, or whatnot to see if I recognize a particular order?
Most
You
definitely,
Yeah.
there is there's a big holy symbol on his shield,
Mhm.
as well as a much smaller version, modestly carved out of some wood, kind of
Frost
attached
druid
to his
bow.
belt. It's like sort of attached to his belt, but it's all like plate armor, so like it's not, it's just kind of like attached, kind of hanging there.
Yep.
More for decoration at this point. You can tell that the shield is pretty ornate, and the symbol is very prominent.
What is the symbol? I mean,
Is the symbol, well, so I don't know if you know what the symbol is. I don't know what it means.
That's
I
why
guess you can.
If you tell me it's a black rose or something like that, I might be a little concerned. If you tell me it's a,
It is not a black rose. Okay, so let me actually figure out what it is, because what I artistically put together, it was not really accurate.
okay,
Honestly, yeah.
So first,
Sister, you are proficient in religion, correct?
I am proficient in religion.
so I just shared an image in the chat
Yes.
of sort of what you see, only instead of a sword, it's a morning star, because you can't always get the art director to do what you want every time when you Google it.
I'm
But I
not
mean,
only
you know,
proficient, I have expertise.
and the shield is maybe a bit more kite-like than that circle, but there would be, let me actually look up the symbol in which I am, worshiping for a moment here.
Cold is that? That looks like they'd be really cold.
And this guy shows up in plate armor and he's like the same level as us. Can I die and get upgraded to plate armor too?
Right? I
Um,
mean, I can't wear plate, but right? How did you
you
afford
see,
plate armor?
you see kind of like an image of like a hand with kind of like what looks like to be pretty ornate eye, like kind of on the back of this hand, and it's just
Palpamidorians?
almost done. Almost. You just gotta like, it's like this only with the eye
Okay.
kind of there. And it's not really why it's, this is like widespread. It's more, just kind of relaxed in a sense.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty. So I don't know, however that looks to you.
So it's not particularly Pan's labyrinthy. It's
Um,
than that.
It's less eyeball on the eye and more like tattoo of an eye.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. Yeah, Connie has no idea. Jay knows. And Jay knows Connie's gonna be unhappy in a minute, but fine, whatever.
Well, we'll see. So I don't know who wants to make their religion checks, and if you know, but
How obscure.
oh, hey, look,
Yeah.
Siston knows.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, if that's what I think it is, that's not a very obscure god at all.
Right. No, it's not.
no,
That's like a DC 10, probably.
yeah. Dalen remembered
Wow.
this from the
Wow.
My First God book.
Mm-hmm.
But I rolled a 20 and a 1. I always love seeing that.
So any of those who like pass the religion check recognize this is very clearly a symbol of Helm.
Yep.
And if you know anything about Helm, I'm going to read from the actual source material because it knows Helm better than I do. Helm is also known as the Watcher, he of the unsleeping eyes, or the Vigilant One, the god of vigilance and protection. Helm is seen as the epitome of the Guardian, the Watcher, and the Guard. He is venerated by those who need to remain watchful for enemies or danger. Helm is a favorite deity of people who make a living by protecting someone or something, such as bodyguards, members of the City Watch, and the guards of treasury vaults. Helm embodies the spirit of watchfulness without regard to good or evil. In legends, he is honorable and keeps his word to a fault, such as when he guarded the celestial star rays at the time of troubles, preventing the gods from ascending them and continuing the chaos of that period. Although his faith has known dark days, worship of Helm never truly faded away. Most of his followers believe that the Watcher can never be vanquished utterly, and recent events have borne out that assertion. Helm's priests teach that one must be ever vigilant, ever aware, ever prepared for one's enemies. Patience, clear thought, and clear planning will always defeat rushed actions in the end. Those who favor Helm strive to be alert, clear-headed, and true to their word. These traits don't necessarily make them nice people, however, and as such, many consider the faithful of Helm to be inflexible and merciless.
All right.
Fun.
Are you new to the Dale? I guess the other thing I would ask Joe is, have I seen this guy before, even if we've not interacted? I mean, I was in Bryn Shandar for a couple of months.
As you, I guess we'll pick up with the last thing I said, so I haven't started moving yet. As you say that, Odric kind of turns to the robed figure that has now been, stabbed in the head, and sort of kneels down and starts rummaging through the belongings to search it for in various things, and he speaks to you, Dalen, but not by turning his head directly.
Okay.
And he says, I've been in these parts for a few weeks now, and your reputation precedes you. But you get the sense that he's saying, he's not, when he says you, he's not speaking to you specifically, Dalen.
Yeah. It's the
He's
general.
speaking to Lamplighters.
Yeah.
He's a member of your fan club, is what he's trying to say. He's
I-
waiting for the secret decoder ring. He sent in all the Ovaltine caps.
I walk over to the slain frost druid and do a quick search and see if there's any documentation, any items. If there's a
There's
holy
a few.
symbol, I take it. Yeah.
There's a few of these guys, and you get the sense that that's exactly what Odric's doing. Like,
Okay.
All right,
Ye-
both of you give me investigation checks.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
oh man, if
So
only I had a
you come in high and you go away low.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
these guys, you get the sense that these are definitely scrubs, right? Like these, you have the very important person, you have the important person, and you have scrub, scrub, scrub. And this guy is the last scrub on the left.
All
Right? Like these guys, if they were carrying anything, it's nothing of any value or any information.
Okay.
Well, they all get a couple of extra axe wounds to the face.
Okay.
Um, before you have a chance to kind of keep commenting, Dalen, Odric says, if you're going to search the bodies, make sure you take any food or supplies you might need. The wilderness is inhospitable. And he doesn't say it as if you don't know it.
Yeah.
It's more just like a, hey, like, don't let shit go to waste sort of
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
Sandalphon is eyeing you because anytime religion is mentioned, before the religion is said, Sandalphon is kind of like, is this a person that's going to want to experiment on me again?
Sure. That's very reasonable. I mean, this guy just, appears.
If Dalen catches wind or notices that, he will walk over and quietly say, Xenophon, I do not believe he is someone you need to be concerned about. His order is an order of protectors. I don't feel like those that are chasing you care enough about protecting people.
Odric moves on to another of the few little people that are on the ground, the cult druids, just being thorough.
Right.
Not that he expects to find anything.
One thing you do notice, or that you do pick up on, is that normally practitioners of druidcraft have some sort of druid related or druid adjacent regalia, like, I don't know, holly berries hung from their nuts or something. And there's none of that. I mean, for all intents and purposes, these just look like 2 Icewind Dalers or 3 Icewind Dalers that happen to be wearing black robes in the snow.
So not that you particularly need a reason to kill frost druids, but what was your motivation?
Self-defense. I was on my own, and they tried to ambush me.
Insight check.
Yeah, I definitely want to know if this dude's on the up and up about that shit.
I'm not good at insight. I love the 0, and 0 is not even the lowest I can roll.
Like, what is defense against insight? Deception?
I mean,
here's a better question. Odric, are you deceiving them?
Is a white lie deception? Or is it just not the whole truth?
Well, that's between you and hell.
Yeah. So your insight checks, okay. I'm gonna say what he's saying, you feel it's very truthful. He's being very direct. That is what happened. But that's very specifically only what he said. Like, why was he out there? There's no mention or inclination of any of that. So you get the sense that there might be something more.
So why did they ambush you?
He's a serial killer, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Jay, sorry, you go.
And what exactly would make frost druids want to ambush someone like you? I mean, besides the fact that they are the putrid scum of the earth and need to have axes embedded in all their heads. But beyond that, did you do anything to them? Did they have any particular gripe with you?
He kind of just, turns and looks at you, like stands up after, crouching out of a second cultist, or rather druid. I guess it's a druid cult, whatever. He stands up and kind of looks at you, and then he just pauses for a second, and as if he's composing his thoughts, and he just says, "This is not the first time I've run into them. It very likely will not be the last."
Huh. Didn't answer the question.
And then then
Well-
he doesn't do anything.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you enjoy killing them?
He kind of eyes you for the question, like almost as if he doesn't understand it, but then he responds, "Violence is a means to an end. It is I take neither joy nor discomfort in the act. They were between me and my mission."
Hmm.
But if we met some more of them, you'd be happy to kill them too, right?
I having met those that I have met, I do not see a likely alternative outcome. As like I said, this is not the first time I've run into them, and I suspect it means I am getting closer.
How many of you left alive?
Hmm.
As many as been needed. You seem to have a
Psycho killer.
propensity for
Excited.
these frost druids.
Ba, 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 ba.
And then he kind of eyes you up again
Mm.
and turns to Dalen and says, "I wasn't aware you traveled with a monk." Well, he's making an assumption you're a monk. I don't know how monkey you are.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not very monkey.
I mean, technically, we're all a little monkey, so
Friend only recently joined a party.
So, why do frost druids want to kill you?
Why do frost druids want to kill you? But
Oh, I
he's
know.
not asking it. It's not. He's asking it, and you can tell it's not pointed like at you specifically. Like you've got this history. He's not speaking to that. He's speaking to like you, the Lamplighters.
They don't actually want to kill me. They want me alive at the moment. So why do they want to kill you?
You see him for the first time showing some real expression when you say that,
Mhm.
and it's more out of like of interest. And I don't know if it comes off creepy to you. Maybe it does, because anyone interested in you comes off creepy. But this guy comes out of nowhere, is now interested in you specifically. But you can tell it's like he's receiving information that he did not expect to get.
Mhm.
And he doesn't really, what he says next doesn't really relate to that expression, which is
Mhm.
telling in whatever way you feel like it's telling. He responds, "I've been investigating the darkness of Icewind Dale and the threat it poses, which has led me on a trail to frost druids. I don't think they like it very much."
Well, this is intriguing.
And
What do you
then
think is causing it?
what do I think is causing it? I don't know. I haven't. I don't have enough information to speculate.
make a religion check.
Oh, that's true. I could make a religion check.
Yeah, you absolutely should. Don't know how we didn't actually cover this, but
Yeah, there we go.
so
Look, I'm
you
a plot
don't
device
know
now.
you don't know for sure, But you are aware that the never-ending frozen dark hellscape that is Icewind Dale is commonly referred to as the everlasting rime.
Mhm.
And there are many in this part of the world, some of whom you've communicated with, and even frost druids that you have not immediately murdered have spoken of their reverence for Arl, the god of winter's wrath. And
Ah.
you've seen the aurora in the sky, and you know it is definitely some kind of magical force that's creating it. Your inclination is to believe that it is indeed somehow related to Arl.
I'm going to retcon what I just say, which is I don't want to speculate because I absolutely would like to speculate now. Odric looks up, kind of slowly, kind of all, kind of up to the air and kind of all around, and says, "This cold is unnatural, and the townfolk call it the everlasting rime, which leads me to believe there's some magical force behind it. I have my suspicions that it may be." You said Aura was the goddess of winter?
God of winter's wrath.
God of winter's wrath.
I would normally say goddess of winter's wrath, but I don't think her gender matters.
Sure.
So
Yeah, at this point.
she is in fact the god of winter's wrath. She likes things cold and dark and frozen, which is where you are right now. What you do know, and you can talk about this if you guys decide to kind of trade notes or share thoughts and ideas, but you have all seen enough to know that there is definitely something very powerful that is altering the environment, not just the weather, the environment of Icewind Dale. Now, you don't know why, and you kind of secretly hope that it's really not Arl throwing a snit fit, because if it is, good luck. But you definitely know that there's something causing this. You are correct. It is what many would consider to be unnatural.
So yeah, Odric continues and says that I believe this to be Auril, the work of Auril, the goddess of winter's wrath. And for lack of a better phrase, gestures vaguely at outside,
So then what brought you here?
I was following a lead that I obtained from previous frost druids. I didn't think I was being followed, but apparently I was wrong.
Do you mind us asking what your lead was? You can be as vague as you want.
He just trying to find the chosen one.
The tower. He just points to the big obvious, attraction of the area.
I was trying to figure out if the lead was me or the tower.
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
he points to the tower, and then kind of doesn't quite turn away from you, but more towards the rest of the party, and asks the question, "What was in the tower?"
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? Stuff. Dangerous things. Illusions. something, possibly information. We don't know yet. We can't. We can't access some of it yet.
You can kind of see he looks a little disappointed because that's not necessarily what he wanted to hear.
Hmm.
And like as if he was led to believe something else was, here. I mean, there's obviously a lot of rumor surrounding this big mystical tower that doesn't exist but does exist, and comes from a sky castle. So any number of things could have happened. So what you tell him, sort of disappoints him because it's not what he was hoping to find based off of rumor. But he, kind of turns back to you and comes back to what you said earlier about the Frost Druids being interested in you.
Mm.
And he makes sure to fix his Morningstar to his side so that, he doesn't, come off as, I don't
Threatening.
know, threatening, imposing, any of that jazz. But he is still fully clad in armor. And he asks, what do the Frost Druids have interest in you? And now he's speaking directly to you and not to the Lamplighters.
We're not sure. I'm apparently not ready yet.
We're gonna make an insight check. Oh, I'm gonna fail because that's what I do. All right, cool.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, well, I
Really
believe
are.
you. Whatever it is, I believe you.
Well, that's not lying. We're
Yeah,
not
that's-
sure.
That's true.
We have some ideas, but at the moment they don't want me dead, but they've tried to
Well.
kill me. They've tried to kill you in the past and failed. More ways than one. Literally.
You are the first real lead I've had in weeks.
Oh no.
And like he says that, and like it's more just like you get the sense that like you're the first tangible thing he's like actually
Oh.
come across that isn't just another like Frost Druid. And
See, if you start treating me like a thing, I'm going to have a PTSD attack and kill you.
well, so I assume that Sanathon has a reaction similar to that, an expression similar to that, like don't talk to me like a thing. And he just continues to say, I've been trekking around Icewind Dale for weeks now, always a step or two behind. But I've heard of your deeds. And he kind of looks at you and then on to the rest of the Lamplighters. And he continues to say, I'm surprised this is the first time we've met, given from what I hear, our goals seem to be similar.
Well, we just keep moving around.
The unseen hands of the dungeon master reach down and grab the damn it, what is your character's name?
Odric.
Odric. I want to say Octic for some reason. Odric, the Odric figure, and the Connie figure says, now kiss.
What?
What?
Absolutely not.
Connie's not interested in men. No, I don't know.
Connie's not interested in God botherers.
God botherers. Well, then this will be interesting. Um,
What's a god botherer?
Someone who
Oh well,
bothers God.
Jay was saying that, not Connie. So
Ah. No, but I'm also Allie's asking what a god botherer.
oh, like an adherent to any divine based religion.
Someone who bothers with worshiping a god.
Got it.
Right.
I thought somebody who bothered gods.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
okay.
that generally speaking, the followers of gods are fucking bothering them all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, to be really precise, like real world precise, a godbotherer is like a relentless proselytizer.
Mhm.
But
Bothers people about God. Got it.
yeah, but I'm just using it because Connie really doesn't like gods to
Yeah.
basically mean anyone who follows a god.
Uh-oh, what does Connie feel about Siston?
Kristen looks a lot like a bard.
That's true.
This is true. You've never witnessed Siston doing anything divine or profane that you know of.
Yeah,
That
well,
you've
there's
seen.
a reason I did not accept any magical healing from
I
Siston.
mean, Siston does as Siston is, or Siston is as Siston does. Alrighty, Lamplighters.
Yep.
And your new friend?
Acquaintance.
Person in the same space.
Yep. Your new your new companion adjacent person. It is creeping on into the afternoon. If you wish it to make it to East Haven, by sundown, you should probably get a move on.
So we have to head out now. We're
Odric was Odric was gonna say that since you guys have
Bingo.
visited the tower, my my need for being here is I have no more need to visit the tower since you guys have been. If you guys are journeying elsewhere, I'd be more than happy to offer my protection on the way back. And he just kind of like picks up his shield, like puts it kind of close to him as if he's like ready to march.
Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to cook?
Yes, I can provide shelter and food for the group
good
if
food?
needed.
Is it good food?
It is adequate. The food is adequate. It will keep you full and nourished. And should we need to stop for the day in the wilderness, I can make sure that I can assist with keeping us safe. You get the sense that he may have been out here alone for a while, out in this Icewind Dale, doing the same stuff you guys have been doing, only
Is he
slower
lonely?
and not as effective because he's all by himself, or the people he's been with are no longer by his side.
By myself.
Yep.
So are we? I turn to the rest. So
Party huddle.
Oh man, this is gonna get awkward.
We lost Chris though.
well, he has a headache.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I saw
Do
something
I
what?
see that now.
called a headache hat, and I'm interested.
Chris bounced.
Because we didn't resurrect his little.
So what is our party huddle about?
Odric, right?
Odric.
Odric, got it.
Odric.
Odd Rick.
Odric.
Yes.
Odric.
Very, very odd, Rick.
Right.
Odric.
Odric. Travel with us? Don't travel with us.
He seems handy.
Wow.
I'm interested
It-
in what information he's learned. Maybe we can figure out more why they want me. Dalen?
Yes.
How do you feel about Odric traveling with us?
Well, you know what they say about the enemy of my enemy. Looking at the dead frost druids, I have no problem with him traveling with us. Is East Haven a fair destination for you? And are you good with a shovel?
Let me look at the map where East Haven actually is. Oh yeah, East
Well,
Haven's
you
fine.
you're
That's the
great.
closest town to where we are, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that sounds much wonderful.
Are you good with a shovel? We're gonna make you dig your own grave.
But well, I mean
Oh,
that's
hey.
effective way to dig a grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, Odric responds that East Haven is as good is where he would be headed back to as well to regroup himself.
Does Odric look humanoidish? Like obviously humanoid, but does he look lizard, people, dragon?
He is
Or-
most definitely looks the only real parts you can see of him are his face, and they appear to be relatively fair skinned and human.
Do they
And
have
I'm going to
pupils?
share some stuff in
Do what?
the
Does
chat.
he have pupils?
Yes, he does have pupils, and they
Hmm.
look like normal human pupils
He's a
upon
mayhem.
inspection.
He's a mayhem. A mare human.
If just so all of you guys know, Sandalphon, Remiel, and Terramin did not have pupils.
Ah,
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I guess
They're
that means
asking.
what race you are.
Yeah.
So I shared some photos in the group chat that are mostly accurate. The symbol in the shield isn't, as I, couldn't decide what I wanted, and I put something generic at the time.
Go
Okay,
team.
cool.
nice.
So it's a combination of what, Hero Forge does versus, little reference art that I had of you kind of seeing him all by himself in the dimly lit tundra.
Oh,
Purple cape?
But yeah,
Well.
so he well clad for, being in the thick of it. But yes, he is very, very pleased to travel. And he is happy to provide whatever assistance and care he can to assist this travel.
Well, it is cold and
Yep.
mostly dark. And the weather does appear to be kind of turning more towards the heavier snowfall. So I need one of you to make a survival check to figure
I
out
will-
the path back to the old East Haven.
I made a 19.
All right.
If you're going to East Haven's that direction, and I just point exactly where it's supposed to be.
Right.
At least we're exactly where I think it's supposed to be.
All right. Well, you
Now, do you guys trust me? Do you want to make an opposing survival check?
Yeah. Although I'm a newbie too, but yeah, I don't know about this God bother. Although I did not do good on that check.
So
I mean,
So far-
it seems like the direction that Odric wants you guys to go seems like a good choice to you. It
And so far-
seems East Havenish.
the only thing that I guess has led me to being a godmother is that I've said, divine, chance or whatever I said at the time. I used the word divine.
And also you have holy symbols on your shield.
Well, I do, but do you know that they're holy symbols, or maybe they're just, symbols of, whatever knightly
Herald-
order or
Yeah,
from a
Herald
knight?
or whatever.
I
yeah.
mean, as common as Helm is, I can't
Well, sure, that's fair.
imagine that I don't have any idea.
I don't
That's
know, Connie,
fair.
make a religion check.
Are you fucking serious?
Don't
It's
roll a one.
really low DC, like a
Hey.
really low DC.
Go to 4.
I'm just gonna say Sandalphon doesn't know because they didn't get any education on religions growing up.
Right. But you did say that divine thing. And
I did
Right.
say divine
so,
once.
So
This is true.
Connie, you don't recognize what deity it signifies, but it has the scent of some sort of holy symbol that, it's all you can do to not,
Right.
spit and make the sign of the upside down cross or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Right.
very reasonable.
Plus he legitimately was like, oh, maybe it's divine fate that we met. Yeah. I was immediately put off by that.
Right. You're like,
Reasonable.
all right.
I like the meta-ness is that you built Connie to fight with Crossus's darkness, and then Crossus gets stoned, and then the next character is like the antithesis of what Connie likes.
Yeah.
So it does take about 4 hours of trudging across the tundra, and you do find your way back to the East Way, and then turn east to make it to East Haven, and before too long you find yourself wandering into the town of East Haven, and you are all confident that if you want, you could enter the White Lady. So
About what time is it at this point?
it's getting close to 6-ish. And by that I mean approaching the hour of last ride.
Did we do a seance last time we were here?
No? Why would you?
Because Siston wanted to.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, you make it back into East Haven. As you kind of make your way towards the Yep. As you get closer to the more central part of East Haven, there are a few of the citizens that recognize you and kind of nod respectfully and or knowingly. They seem to, they don't walk up to you and heap adoration and praise upon you, but they recognize you. And so where do you wish to go?
Odric is going to not make any inclinations on what the party is going to do, and is going to kind of wait to read the party if they're going
Okay.
to, because he is walking with them to town. They have come to town, which now we need to reestablish a reason to walk together. So he's going to wait to see where they go. And if they're going to the White Lady, then we'll see what happens.
Okay. Lamplighters, the remaining ones of you, do you wish to enter the White Lady?
I wish to find Iggy if we're going to update Iggy on what the plan is.
Well, it's not hard to find Iggy, as the White Lady is probably the best bar and sort of common area that people tend to frequent in these towns, and it's only been a few days. And as you walk in, you see the frail, almost wraith-like form of Iggy, sitting at a table, and she kind of looks up. Oh my, it's my companions. I didn't think I'd see you for a while.
It's since it's about 6-ish, it's about time for my evening kata, so I'm not going to enter the White Lady. I'll just duck around the alley to the side and do my evening kata.
Very good.
Odric will enter the White Lady, but go to the bar and order some food first, and not really do much else. He'll sit down after that.
You get charged a couple of silver, but a fine meal is on its way to you. Dalen, how are you? And Sandalphon and Sybil, no,
Siston.
Siston, yes, Siston. How? Forgot what I was going to. How are you?
We are actually
Yes.
in need of you showing us or describing to us to where the item you buried is buried.
You mean those bones I was saving for dessert later?
No.
Do you mean the bodies of our enemies?
You
No.
buried them? I thought you just ate them.
Oh, you mean the super powerful magical item that can upset everything in the 10 towns? Yes,
everything.
yes, I know where it is. Yes, yes. And then, like all that talking appeared to really take it out of her. She kind of looks kind of drowsy and waits for your response.
Yes, that. Yes, that. That, yes.
Huh? Oh, sorry, I fell asleep, dear. Well, it's where did I put that thing? Oh, you wanted me to bury it, right? Yes,
Yes, that is correct.
And you made me carry that big, heavy thing. Yes. Well, we can go find it in the morning. Mhm. Yes. It's not very far.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to retire for the night. Can y'all make sure that Ziggy gets a decent meal and a decent night's sleep? They're going to need their rest and their energy for tomorrow.
I mean, there is literally a pile of like bones and like post-meal debris, like a small pile of it. And you can see a noticeable bulge where her stomach would be, mainly because the rest of her is so cadaverously thin. But she looks like she just had to go. Oh, dearie, that won't be necessary. No, I just had a meal of this, whatever this was. I think I'll go to bed too.
At 6 p.m.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, one of you want to
mean,
help me up? I'm
she's
old.
ancient.
You want to help Sandalphon? Will you help
course.
me up? This is the frail, shaking little lizard hand.
Of course, Iggy.
Frail, she's got like 35, 40 hit points.
So, Sandalphon, you're easily able to maneuver Iggy to her chambers, to her room there in the White Lady. And she's like, okay, I'll see you in the morning. Yes. She closes the door and you assume goes to bed or drops dead. Either thing is equally likely.
Mm.
Hmm?
Mm. I come back down and say, well, she's in for the night. Sistine, do you want to possibly contact the spirits?
Oh, I love a good ghost story.
Uh-huh. So you're just gonna like randomly do some seancing?
No, there's a person who does a seance here. If you
There
see it.
is normally, they are not there yet. So you don't know if they're gonna be here later or if derp. Reload, come on.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, yes, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's hideaway.
Ole.
Oh man, I'm starting to feel the shot.
Yeah. My neck is tightening up.
Protect your neck.
All righty. Well, Sistine, you are easily recognized, and you inquire about Ronaldo, and they say, yeah, he should be here probably, within the next hour or so. Would you care to grace us with
Oh,
your songs?
I would love to. I just didn't want to step on his territory. I know that can be particular for folks like us to make sure that we are respectful. But I would love to warm the audience up, so to speak.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yes, please. The stage is right over there.
Well, and as I go up to the stage, tune my lute a little bit. I am looking good. Like when I'm traveling, I kind of look a little bit more choppy, but like when I go up on stage, you're like, man, this is looking good.
Ah. This is definitely not your first time on stage. You are very accustomed to reading the crowd, and you notice there are a couple of guys and one girl that have perked up and are kind of looking at you and like eager anticipation, and maybe a hint of, I don't know, desire might not be the wrong word.
Awesome.
What time does System go on stage?
About 6:30.
Okay. I'm still practicing forms though.
All right. I
So
will perform.
go ahead and give me a performance check with advantage.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. So it is not your best performance, but it is far from your worst. And
East Haven. I mean,
yeah, you kind of, you're still getting a little warmed up. You have been on the trail for the last few days. You haven't quite warmed up to the inside yet, but you do manage a couple of numbers, and you notice still that both those guys and that girl are still like you have their attention. I want you to remember the immortal words of Parliament, which is head or no backstage pass. So George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. Head, no backstage pass. Head, no backstage pass.
Well, it's a good way to pass the time. My fingers
Sure.
were getting a little bit
Well,
too much time on the road.
well, you do still have it, and both your voice and your appearance are definitely a welcome change and a bright spot in the evening. What time do you finish your kata, Connie?
So the kata is an hour. I
Okay.
spent an hour practicing forms,
Okay.
and then I'm going to go find a place to meditate for an hour.
Okay. And by meditate, I assume you mean someplace private and quiet.
Yes.
So your choices in a town for that are kind of limited. You might consider getting a room if you intend on staying here tonight. That would
Yeah, I mean, if a room seems like where I need to be to get my quiet time, that's what I will do.
yeah, there are enough people in East Haven to where you'll have a hard time you'll have a hard time finding a quiet, sort of alone private space. So
Okay, well, in that case, I will rearrange my daily schedule slightly.
okay.
So I will book a room that I can meditate in later, but I will go ahead and take a meal in the common room while I spend an hour studying my book.
All righty. Well, as you are studying that book, you do, for the first time, you get to see Sistine perform, and it is quite lovely. And you realize she is very talented. And Sistine, after about a half an hour, you kind of get ready to finish up your set, and you see finally enter in through the main doors the little halfling known as Ronaldo. And he kind of walks in, kind of surveys his domain and sees you up on the stage, kind of gives you a little knowing sort of showbiz nod, and he's kind of like arches an eyebrow, like, you're set done, or is it my turn?
Yeah, and then I now I will bid you adieu because I can hardly wait myself to hear the performance of the incomparable Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
And I hope to hear, as many do, the stories of this place, to know what ghosts may lurk.
Oh, you wish to know what ghosts may lurk here in the White Lady? Yeah.
Oh, it's fascinating to me.
So as he kind of makes his way up on stage, like the girl that was watching you kind of like motioned you over, like,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll sit down. Free drinks and all are always good.
Right? She just kind of looks at you. She says, that was really good. That was some of the best singing I think I've maybe ever heard. And you know, can I buy you a drink? D- uh,
What
I'm
is
sorry.
so
I'm
sweet?
super rude. My name is Shelby, and and I live here in East Haven. But yeah, you want like a beer or something?
Uh, yes. What's good here? What's good here, Shelby?
Nothing. Nothing is good here. It's all really not great. But you know, there's average. You know, average
Let's
is
celebrate average with
yes.
better company.
Let's celebrate mediocrity. Yes.
But with
So,
good company, anything can be.
so she gets the attention of the server, and she orders a couple of honeyed ales, which you are pretty sure is something that you haven't had offered to you in other towns, which kind of makes you wonder where it came from. But you know, a couple of moments later, a couple of honeyed ales are delivered, and right as your ales reach the table, Ronaldo kind of steps up on stage, his little fiddle in his hand, and he goes, "So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sistine Songsayer. Yes, very good, very good. Yes, she's lovely. You said, dear Sistine, something about ghosts.
Oh, yes.
There's a ghost here in the White Lady, and I would like to contact her." And like,
Very enthusiastic. And
right, and like
I asked
everybody
Shelby
else
if
just kind of
anything.
looks around. Like, there's actually a couple people, like you notice, like one person actually go, for fuck's sake, here we go again, right?
Shelby,
So
Shelby, is this a show or is this real?
I will keep staring at my book, but I am now interested in what the fuck is going on.
Shelby leans over to you, kind of in a like a conspirational whisper, and she's like, "You've never seen the spirit? Oh, you're in for a treat. If he's able to call her up tonight, you'll see.
Will
You'll
you
see.
hold my hand if it gets scared?
I'll hold your hand even if it's not scary." So Ronaldo says, "Very good. The seance it shall be." And he claps his hands and he points to the bartender and he goes, "Bring out the seance table stuff, medium and things to do the." I can't decide on his voice. And so
I mean, his name is Ronaldo.
it is Ronaldo. So
In the middle of
he invites, you know, other people in the crowd to come into the back room, and where the seance accoutrements are set up, and of course Shelby's like, "Come on, let's go." And you know, Ronaldo's like, "Oh, two of you already? Okay. I need six.
I'll go.
There's three. Do I have three more?
I'll go.
No, very good.
go.
That's four. We need two more. You, the shady looking guy with the big shield. You want to traffic with the dead?
Odric stands up but says nothing,
Well, which will
but
it
kind of
be?
nods,
Okay. We just need
having
one
been
more.
invited.
One more.
I think technically Dalen went up to bed, but if this is going to happen, he could have hung out to hear how at least through
Well, I
system
mean,
back.
it's
Yeah.
not like you to skip a system show.
That's
so-
exactly right. That's
Right,
exactly
right.
right. So I'm kind of at the base of the stairs when I hear what's going on, and I set my stuff back down and go and sit down at the table.
All right, all right. Very good, very good. Let us proceed back to the seance room. And you all kind of troop back to this, this one room. There's he kind of goes around and lights several, incense burners, and a very kind of cloying sweet smoke begins to fill the room. There's lamps and silks hung from the ceiling and the rafters, and there are, he lights several candles around the room, and then he invites you all to sit cross-legged around this little kind of a Japanese style table. What would be, a table meant not to sit at in chairs, but to sit at, on your cross-legged hands and feet. And so kind of waits for y'all to get seated around and rubs his hands together. And he pushes the sleeves of his robe up, raises his hand, closes his eyes, and says, "Lady who watches from the lake, come to us in our darkest hour. Tell us what you've seen. Tell us what you've seen."
Joe, if I may interject here real quick. As a monk, I'm sure I know how to do this. I sit down at his table in a way that looks like I'm, complying with protocol, but also in a way that I am ready to spring into action at a moment's notice.
Very, very good. Noted. So,
Ready, action, spring.
Yeah, ready,
Right.
action, get the fuck up and beat someone's ass.
so there's this moment, this sort of almost long enough to be uncomfortable pause. But then you look over at the windows of the room, and one by one, they begin to frost over. And then once all of the panes have frosted over, completely opaque, one by one, the candles go out. So,
One every 6 seconds as he does thaumaturgy.
right. That's it. He says, it's actually, I mean, sound of fun. You're not doing a count in your head, but it was pretty quick. So you're guessing it was like maybe 2 or 3 seconds between each extinguished candle. He says, "Oh, the white lady, her spirit is close. Reach out to her. Yes." Siston, what do you do?
I squeeze the hand of the person next to me.
Shelby kind of looks at you and she smiles and she nods. Go ahead. Ask her to come out. She's kind of shy.
Come out, white lady.
So, okay. And she looks at her, and so Shelby looks at you, gives your hand a squeeze, and she says, "Oh, white lady, in these dark times, show us your light. Show us. Teach us what you would have us know." Sandalphon, what do you do?
I go, "I bet you're really beautiful. I think you would be nice to see."
Okay. Connie? What do you do to urge the spirit?
Do I sense any new presence within 10 feet with my blind sight?
That is a fantastic question.
Ooh, the plot
I'm
thickens.
not sure that blind sight will allow you to sense things that are incorporeal.
Blind sight essentially gives you sight within 10 feet without having to see.
Right.
Basically, if a sighted person could detect it within 10 feet, then a blind-sighted person can detect it within 10 feet.
You don't see or sense anything within 10 feet of you. No.
I say nothing.
Oh, you don't wish to help. What about you, shady man?
Shady man. Wow.
Shady man.
I'm more like shiny man, but okay. Um, forgive me. The Ronaldo is asking me what question if I feel something or sense something.
Are you using divine sense?
I do. I am not using divine sense. I do not have divine sense, so I'm not using divine sense.
Siston, do you have anything that could be able to detect the presence of undead?
Turn undead.
Not quite the same thing, is it?
No, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not using divine sense.
I don't.
So I will say that both you and Connie and anyone paying attention, you know that window panes generally don't frost over, especially in warm rooms like that in very quick succession. I mean, you don't see a ghost in front of you or anything. I need all of you that have participated to make persuasion checks.
I was just about to ask about a check I can make, but persuasion will work.
Am I considered to have participated?
Only if you want to.
Well, I mean, I just sat there and did nothing
True.
except concentrate on seeing if something showed up.
But you did come and sit down.
Right. That's why I'm asking the
Yeah,
DM.
yeah.
Like, am I a participant or not?
You are a witness, not a participant.
Fair.
So,
Then yeah, kind of ignore my role too. I think I'm more of a participant than
okay, let me
or a witness than a participant.
let me make a rolio for
If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the precipitant.
Yeah.
okay. All right. So as you, those of you who choose to kind of beckon to her for the briefest of moments, you catch, like, even though you're looking, you know, around the table, kind of looking at each other, there's a sense of movement, and you all catch a glimpse of what looks to be a lady in white. And Shelby squeezes your hand. She goes, "She's here. She's here. That's her. That's her." And Ronaldo looks around you and he says, "She is here. She is here. She will answer your questions. Go ahead. Ask your questions. And Shelby kind of squeezes your hand, looks at you, assistant, and she says, I'll ask a question. And she says, what are my chances of getting to know Siston better? And there's a silence. And then you've all heard the sound of a wet fingertip squeaking on glass. And you look over, and on one of the frosted panes, you see like a finger drawing the letters out to the word maybe.
I would like to make, or
Keep-
Odric would like to make a religion check to discern if this is a ritual that he might be aware of, or something that making sure this is in line with,
Sure.
an actual seance.
Sure. Go ahead.
Since I don't think insight's really the right role for here. I think this is a religion check. 14.
I mean, you don't have extensive experience with the undead, but you do know that ghosts and spirits and spooks and specters and poltergeists and haunts and any number of things exist. It's, it's
Mhm.
not, it is known, right?
Yeah.
And this particular mode of communication is a little odd, but not unheard of.
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't pulled out an Ouija board yet or anything. So
Sure. So far it seems above board.
far.
What?
Okay.
What was Ronaldo doing? That's who I was paying attention to. While this invisible hand was writing on the window pane.
Ronaldo's, his sleeves are pushed up, his hands are on the table, and he was looked back and watching to see what the response was. He did not appear to be casting a spell or doing any sort of magic.
Well,
Now,
I'd like to ask a question, but before I do, I would ask that Ronaldo leave the room.
He looks at you. Madam, this is my seance.
That's
What?
very good. Please leave the room.
Very well. I've done my part. I shall return in a few moments. And he gets up and he walks out of the room, closes the door behind him.
I look at shit. Osric? What's your name?
Odric.
Audrey,
Odric.
Odric.
Would you be a dear and go outside and keep an eye on that little shit?
Odric kind of stands up and surveys the room a little bit, and then just trying to get a good mental picture of what the room is like. And then he goes out the front door, or not the front door, but the door to this room, and closes it behind him to stand watch.
Okay. I mean, he's not hard to find. He's literally waiting outside in the hallway.
Sure. Odric just, he stands out there, just clad and not necessarily trying to be imposing, but very
Sure.
obviously an obstacle.
Ronaldo looks up at you and says, "Oh, kicked you out too, did they?"
Just kind of gives him a nod as if they are in the same boat.
That's a strange one. She's a strange one. Okay. Back inside.
So, seeing as you're a ghost and all, does that mean that like your soul is trapped here on Earth and you have not trucked with any gods?
There is a pause and then the squeaking of the finger on the glass writes out the letters correct, period.
Well, ghosts are pretty good then. I rap on the door to let Ronaldo and God, Odric?
Odric.
Odric.
Odric. Odric.
Yeah.
Like Odric's
So
hollow.
he comes back inside and he goes, so you asked one question. She normally answers only 3. Who will ask the last question? And he looks at you, Siston. Is there something you wish to ask the White Lady?
Galen, you're smart. You should ask the question.
Why don't we get Ronaldo to ask last
No,
question?
no, we want things answered. Galen, you have questions. You have probably a smart one in mind. You ask it. Is Dalen there?
I'm
Dalen.
here.
Okay.
Sorry. Video is off. I thought I turned it back on when I came back. I have not prepped for this question. Sorry.
What does Odric know of the White
Ooh.
Lady?
Who can we trust?
Pretty
Uh,
much
too
nobody.
vague. Yeah, it's too vague.
Too vague. Isn't there like a town that we can ask about? There's a name that you had that you mentioned it to somebody. That was like the name. Oh,
Oh. Look at my notes.
Opening up stuff. Places. Yethrin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what do the frost druids want with me? That's another good question. But we got to decide soon, probably.
We could ask who is murdering. That's one of the early game hooks.
Yeah.
I think we resolved that.
I mean, I don't think, and this is Jay, not Connie talking. I don't think we should necessarily assume that we are communicating with an omniscient being.
Correct.
No, but if she's really old, she might know of Yethrin or something.
Yethrin.
If she's really old, maybe she knows what's changed in between
Joe,
frozen perpetual night and not perpetual night.
Does Dalen feel like we visited a part of the Netherese city that crashed in the city of Yithrin? The tower that we just visited, does he feel like that was at least part of that city?
I mean, it's reasonable to think that, yes.
Okay.
I mean, do you know for certain? No. Strange tower upside down, plunged into the ground from, what looks like something that fell from a certain height. Obviously, magical trappings and, it tracks.
Yeah.
Ask her. She won't stay forever.
We could also ask her about the sunblight. I don't know what questions we have.
Ask her why Hotel California is so popular,
Oh my
despite
gosh.
being objectively a horrible song.
It's probably the chord progression.
You just see the finger write out the word Satan. Yeah.
What does Odric know of the White Lady?
Odric doesn't know a whole lot about the White Lady.
Cool. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Is there, so Do we know how long she's been around at all? We have a best guess.
Couple of 100 years at least.
Do we want to ask her what it was like before the rhyme? Do we think that she's older than the rhyme been happening?
The rhyme is relatively recent, within the last 3 or 4 years.
Um,
And
Yeah,
so it has been so long since we heard the beginnings of this. What is her story again? That the story of the white lady, we heard it.
her greedy husband drowned.
Yep, her husband drowned and she kind of lost her mind and ran into the lake and drowned.
Interesting.
So the idea, and this is Robert talking, was that we came here to have a seance to ask someone who's really old and more or less witnessing everything questions that will help us answer other questions.
Yes, I thought it would be help us lead us on some of our quests that we're looking for answers to. We've already found the upside down tower.
Do we know about the sunlight? What are things that we know about the sunlight that we might not super know about? What's tourmaline?
We
What's
could,
what?
if
What's-
if the white lady travels around, is she bound to this tavern or does she like
Bound
know.
to the city, it sounds like.
bound to the city? Okay, well, maybe she knows something about the rhyme.
Ali, what was your question? What is the what?
Tourmaline? I have it in my
Tourmaline?
notes, but I don't have anything underneath it. I just have it as a place.
Tourmaline is one of the 10 towns.
Oh, got it.
No, I
Uh,
was going to say tourmaline is a gemstone.
Yeah.
Well, mineral.
But Tourmaline
I mean-
is to the north near the Mayor du Alden.
if we want,
I should have thought of about this before we did this.
I mean, and I still think we're not talking to an omniscient being, but,
No, she's been around.
but if we wanted the best question to ask an omniscient being, I
Mhm.
think it is, what is it that the wizards are up to that the frost druids fear? That's the money question.
Do we want to ask?
Whether or not the white lady can answer it is a completely separate question.
She
Could also
doesn't
ask
seem
what they
to-
want with, Sendlethon.
That's the other good question. Why am I? What makes it that powerful beings want to collect me?
Because the thing is, the frost druids are here fucking shit up because they think the wizards are up to something worse.
As you guys kind of talk about this, you see Ronaldo kind of spasm and jerk back, and his eyes roll in the back of his head. And it's his voice, but it's not his voice. And it says, "The Frost Maiden protects the world from the city buried under the glacier." And one of the windows shatters outward, and the frost begins to dissipate from the windows.
Well, that was helpful. That's
Oh goodness.
um
The meeting.
I would like to make a religion check. to see if I recall any lore specifically about Oral, and that corroborates this story.
Joe, I put what I think you said in the chat. Can you verify, see if I missed anything salient?
Hey, Odric,
Yeah.
it would seem that
Have you-
life is bigger than you.
Oh, God, no,
Yep.
no,
And-
stop it, stop it, stop.
And you were not me.
Have you been seeing the Under the Sea remix of that song?
So Lacuna Coil does a fantastic cover of that song.
But have you been
Um,
seeing the
Okay, in the chat,
Not a
chit chat,
fantastic cover.
It's not
uh,
a- I'm gonna post it.
you are so close. The Frost Maiden protects the world from the city buried under the glacier.
Yep. Which is not good news.
Yep, that's it.
So
All right. I'm assuming with the window shattering, the place returns mostly to normal, except now it's
It
cold.
does, and Ronaldo like slumps down to the ground. That has not happened in a very long time. I don't think I want to do this again for a while. He kind of like looks at all of you in turn and kind of like visibly shaken and kind of like exhausted looking. And I mean, not like, oh, I think that guy's tired. I mean, there are bags under his eyes. He looks like he is physically exhausted. And he kind of slowly kind of fumbles his way out of the room. And Sistine Shelby leans over to you and she says, "What was that about?"
Real quick, is the window that got shattered? Are there shutters for that window, or is it just now open to the cold outside?
It is now open to the cold outside.
Alrighty.
we need a meeting. We need a party meeting.
Okay.
Odric is gonna just kind of just start talking.
Uh,
And
We're gonna wait until we're like alone. Probably in one of the rooms or something. Is that okay, Odric?
that's fine. He was gonna talk to you guys. I mean, because we're alone in this room right now, right?
Well, I mean, there is Shelby, who seems to
Shelby.
be maybe a little frightened by that little display. Probably
Sure.
a little different from the normal show.
Maybe she would like some orange juice.
What's an orange?
Fair.
It's a color you don't see in this part of town.
Yeah.
Sandalphon, am I getting the impression that you would like to have a offline chat?
No, I was saying alone, where there's no.
I mean, you guys can easily, procure boarding for the night.
We found the tower, which we think might be the city that's fallen, and then immediately people show up to make a deal to get us out of there,
Yeah.
distract us.
I was thinking similar.
Mhm.
If Oral is behind the rhyme and is doing it to protect the world from something encased in the glacier. One would think that the wizards that the frost druids are after, or trying to, or bothered about, must be trying to, those wizards must be trying to reach that city.
Because it probably has knowledge of something that's going to harm the world. And she said, so one of them had said that they need me to continue it forever or something.
Why is that?
We don't know. I have theories, but we don't know.
Sistine Shelby kind of looks at you and she says, I
would not be saying this around Shelby. I
Yeah,
thought Shelby was
she's
not
going to be
here.
like, I'm going to go like get a drink and sit out there. And
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, we need the room.
Shelby,
guys
thank you
are-
so much. I think this seems intense, doesn't it? Do you feel it? So, whew, how we'll be back, but oh, I feel like I just need to shake that off, don't you?
yes, very, very much, with a lot of ale and
Yeah.
that's maybe even something stronger. I'll be in the I'll be in there for at least a few minutes.
Dylan, I know you're not one of the wizards that have been here. Like you're a different member of a group. But do you have any idea what the wizards that are looking for this thing could have done in the last 3 or 4 years that would have made the protection go up?
Maybe locate what they've been looking for.
Hmm.
I mean, the only speculation I can make at this point is if they found the tower we found, maybe that's hint enough to where to start looking for the large part of the city, maybe something that's hidden in the city, maybe something that's not even hidden in the city, but was known to be in the city, but when it crashed, kind of out of sight, out of mind, not accessible. But if they have found it, and Arl or somebody does not want the wizards to get to it, maybe this is their way to protect it. Bury it nice.
I mean, Dalen, just from the conversation that you had with your master, the very reason you have been sent out here is because your group found out that the Arcane Brotherhood was putting out feelers and investigating in and around Icewind Dale. There were, they weren't clear what they were looking for, but knowing how you know the Arcane Brotherhood, they aren't evil. That they are not, they are neither good nor evil. They believe in the acquisition of power for the sake of the acquisition of power.
Yeah.
They like power. They think power solves problems, and they think power, they are definitely in the might makes right category. If this is one of the flying cities from definitely not the Age of Arcanum that crashed in something that definitely was not the Calamity, the secrets, the knowledge, and the arcane technology that could be present there could alter the balance of power in Faerun.
So before I came to the Dale, I was in a place where time was weird. How long has it been since the whole attempt of Tiamat summoning?
I believe we figured it's been about 10 years. What was it?
That's the number that jumped to my brain, so I'm gonna say we're probably right.
We are in the year 1494.
So it's been about 9 years since the rescue of Termin.
Something like that, yes.
Okay, so it's probably nothing, but probably didn't cause it. I was just wondering if, like, Termin being captured by a strong being to do experimentation caused somebody to figure out that I was needed or something. I was trying to figure that out.
So you never Soundaphon, make a wisdom save or check with
no.
advantage.
I'm bad at those.
I know. I know.
Wisdom hard.
Right? Or
Wisdom hard.
insight or intuition or
Yeah.
putting things together.
Let's go for it. 15.
15.
Oh, that's
All
not
right.
too bad with a -2.
I mean, for you, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
So Rimiel and Terriman and other people that were their friends and their comrades, even the one other than Terriman that Rimiel was close to, the tiefling wizard that you knew as the night sky, Noctis Calum. They told stories of going to Pandemonium, the actual place, Pandemonium. And you're not certain, but you're pretty sure that Arl is associated with Pandemonium somehow. And I mean, you don't know if there's a link there, but you do know, like, you remember the stories.
I think I might need to tell you guys more about my history before we can solve the next piece of the puzzle.
Well, I'll tell y'all what I know, which is that whatever God is getting up to is not good for the planet. So if Oral is doing this, we need to stop her.
Odric kind of reaches into a pouch on his side and pulls out a rolled up piece of parchment and comes over to the table we were all sitting at and kind of rolls it out, and it's a scribbled map of the 10 towns. And by scribbled, it's a pretty well scribbled map.
It's
Not a lot of it's not necessarily to scale.
It's
but,
good graffiti.
Yeah, it's good graffiti. But up in the corner, there's the notion for the what is that? The Reghead Glacier?
The Reged Glacier, yes.
Reghead Glacier. And Odric kind of sprawls out the map and kind of lays it flat and points to that feature, and he says, if Oral's protecting a city in a glacier, do we think this is the glacier they're talking about?
Is that anywhere near the tower we were?
Um, You would ask that, wouldn't you?
Well, if we're
No,
talking
no.
about, a floating city that fell to earth, it would have fallen across a wide spectrum. Like, we wouldn't necessarily expect every tower to fall like right next to each other. Because if you're, I don't know, 25,000 feet in the air and you just explode and start casting pieces of yourself about, it's gonna be a pretty wide range where you land. I say with my whopping 10 intelligence.
When was the last time you were 25,000 feet in the air?
You know, yesterday.
Depends on the drugs I'm having for that day.
It is 10:59. I'm gonna have to start wrapping up for me.
Is the flu shot getting to you?
That and I was up for a while in the middle of the night, and I got stuff I gotta do tomorrow, so I gotta get some sleep tonight.
I'm
That's fair.
volunteering at the swim meet tomorrow to do times for
Okay.
extra
Oh
head
my
swimming.
goodness, cool.
I'm not swimming. I'm just clicking
Yeah.
button. But I get 3 free absences. So
Ooh.
So do you guys want to end here and pick up the morning
mhm.
the morning of the 23rd?
Yes, I want to have more conversations. I want to like be like, what is this? Blah 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 blah.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, just
Yeah, but yeah.
We'll write down what you want to ask, and we can either do it in chat or we can pick up there next time. But just
Yeah,
that way we don't
or
forget.
I mean, do you have things that you want to tell? I mean,
It's just I'm just thinking like, did someone tell Oral some like good studies with Chairman that somebody did, and now that's why I'm being sought after? Oh, this is
Well, if the
I mean,
Arcane Brotherhood
Allie,
is after,
Allie, I would just
Mhm.
like to point out that you were the one that made a character with connections.
yeah. I like playing as a Mars, and it was easy to be like, well, then I'm related.
I mean, it is a shared world. It is the D&D, the D&D work, the D&D at work cinematic universe. So
I think actually, honestly, with the questions that Ali is now raising, Joe, you and I might need to discuss offline,
we do.
exactly what was going on in Pandemonium with Terraman Soul.
That it might not be a bad idea.
So this might be a good place to pause it, so
Yes.
that you and I can have that discussion over the next week.
Okay. I agree. I mean, I have gone a certain direction. I don't think there's anything that you could tell me that will alter where we are, but it definitely could enhance it or maybe change the trajectory a little bit. So,
Right. And this is your game, so I don't want to like
oh no, I mean,
send it off in another direction. But if Terraman's Soul is now on the table, I think we should talk.
well, I mean, number one, we want to. All right, I'm going to stop recording. Oh, nope.
I will just tell you really briefly